273, 330 on that 2006 Jetta TDI. About at 192. While I'm replacing the springs, these were the ones that were in the Jetta. I put in some 2-wheel drive Tiguan springs, and carrying so much weight and tools and parts and everything else, this has been sagging, so that I had to even weld up on the bottom of the trailer hitch. It was grinding so much. I mean, just pulling into my driveway, that's pulling crossways is doing it. Grinding, pulling in the driveway, pull into shopping centers and stuff, it can do it. I forgot I wanted to measure the distance from the trailer hitch to the ground. Might be able to get some idea. Well, this is jacked up, but it was squatting really bad. So we'll put in, and it was wearing on the inside of the back tires. I just had a front end alignment because the front, I put in new control arms, and one of the tie rod ends were loose, so I replaced one of the outer tie rod ends too. One of the control arms had a ball joint, the other one didn't. Luckily, both the ball joints were still good, but you know, I wanted to use the best one, but this one ended up being tight enough anyhow. So what we'll do is, I already pulled out, it's 18 millimeter wrench on the nut side, 18 on the bolt side. Make sure you support the bottom of the control arm, otherwise the spring's going to come flying. So I'll let this down, pull out the spring, put a new one, align it up with the pads on top and bottom, and jack it back up and line up the bolt. Also, I have the factory jack almost all the way up. There's a couple threads left. Be sure to put a tire under it if it falls off this jack back here. So this ended up being up high enough, but with this low profile jack, this is still, I'm able to move that up. I'll pull that out. I hope I can get the new spring in. So we'll take off the Tiguan isolators, put that back on there, slap it back in there, throw the bolt in there, do the other side. 26. It's 25 7/8. Close to. This will sink down. Make sure it's on the concrete at figure 27. So if it stays within 26 and a half, that should be good. That is lifting up some on the other side. I wish I would have measured where the trailer hitch was at. It's like, now it's at like 7.5 that I welded the bottom back up. Pretty quick and easy to do that, 15 minutes. Shouldn't even take you 15 minutes aside. I have to turn it around and do the other side, then I'll see how much of a clearance. This would grind every frickin' time. Even going diagonally into the yard, it would grind. I started doing that because I got sick of listening to this. So we'll see what kind of, like right at the steepest spot, like right in here. See how much of clearance it is. I usually have all my a bunch of tools in there. Diesel starter, spare diesel starter, spare alternator, plus whatever parts that I get from all the junkyards. I use this for going to junkyards throughout the southeast U.S. from Alabama, North, South Carolina, Georgia. All the springs are pretty close same. The old T1 spring, it even has a tag in it from when I bought it, T1 down there. But they go by the paint marks on it. These two are about the same. That hasn't been loaded in at least a few years. That's a new one. So we'll get the new one in. Also, you have to line up this little, it's right there, got to make sure that the nub's broke off, but the nub lines up with a hole right there in the spring seat. Got to line that up because that's the way it was. Line up the top one with the old marks. Stick it back in and be done in like 10 minutes. Yeah, after you get gently let down the jack, this was loose enough I could just slide the jack out of the way and slide the new spring in there. Just line up the rubber nub with the hole in the rear of the spring seat, and there's still plenty of room underneath here, but it'll slide right in. Put the spring in each side, shouldn't even take you 15 minutes. This side's 26 and a half. And this side it looks way jacked up. 27 and a quarter. I forget what I measured that trailer hitch at, but that's like 8 and a quarter. So now I'll drive it down so the hitches, well, it starts hitting right here. So I'll see if it's close to hitting there. Then I'll move it maybe another foot to see if it's what it does over there. It's like 26 and a quarter there. There. Seven and 5/8 or so. Yeah, I'll check it. If I have yeah, I have a second spare tire and actually a second car battery on the floor of the back seat. So we'll come over here. I'll pull up the trailer hitch, see if there's a clearance right at the beginning and maybe down by the middle to see if it kind of slopes, dives down, and that side of the driveway goes back up for the swale of the street. Straight marks start right here. There's like 2.5 inches clearance. I'll pull up and see if there's any clearance on it. Over an inch right there, so we'll keep going. Hope you can see it. I can't see the picture. This right here is where the scrape marks start. That's about 18 inches there's at least an inch right there. There's like 2 inches there, so there's plenty of clearance now, just so it doesn't settle down too much. I'll be fine with that.